Hello, 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 hello. Okay, so the only thing that is okay. Uh let's put this. Okay. Yes. Hello, 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 everybody. Sorry. We had to make a couple of changes. Welcome to Life Matters. I know Adeyeba. This is another beautiful Saturday afternoon, and we are so glad to have you here on the show. Hope you're doing great. Hope your friends, your family, everyone is doing great. While you're listening to me, while you're watching me, I want to go straight, turn on your notification button, and tell your friends to tell your friends to tell your friends that we're live, we're live, we're live. Today we're going to be having someone that is is a very good friend of mine. Let's just go straight live onto um we're gonna be going live on yes, so we're live already. So we're gonna be sharing to everybody. So if you are not yet on our platforms, please make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Um yes, so we are going live. We're going live on Instagram right away. Um Yes. So we go live on Instagram. One, two, we're live. Yes. So I'm just gonna send each and every one of you, please go straight, go straight, go straight. Tell your friends that we are live already. Um, I'm going to be sending to my guest so that he can send to his friends. Yes. So my guest today is Timi Adeyeba. Timi is okay. So let me give you a bit of a gist about Timi. Funny enough, is that he was my senior in secondary school. He's my senior colleague as because he was called to bar before me in Nigeria. But the funny thing is that those senior friends you always have when people want to bully you and they're always having your back. That was Timi for me in secondary school for what people call high school, but it's such an amazing time. He has been a very great influence, and he has been in the sphere of the entertainment law in the entertainment industry and in the entertainment law industry. He's the CEO of Amplify Africa, a US based company, and he will be talking about everything putting Africa on the map, what we as Africans in diaspora, what we as Africans anywhere in the part of the world, what we need to do to make sure that Africa continually stays on the map and stays relevant globally. So this afternoon, all the way from LA. Oh my God, I'm so extra. Okay, so all the way from LA, we have Timi Lane Adeyeba.
Hello, hello, hello.
I was telling people, I said, funny enough, you know that senior you always have in secondary school that
Mm,
when other seniors want to bully you, they
uh,
always have your back. I said that was Timi Lane. People were always pissed that how you take know all these guys.
they know them now.
Oh my God, welcome Timmy. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here today. So give us a tiny bit of tell us a tiny bit about I think I've talked about you, but give
Okay.
us a tiny brief into what you do for fun apart from football. Timmy can play football for Africa. So
I literally just got back from soccer. I was
yeah,
just rushing down, like, wait, I must make this.
you did not
Um,
have a choice. So apart
yes,
from
I
soccer,
must
what are
make
the
this.
other things you used to relax basically?
So I like chilling with my friends, just in good time. Um, I watch a lot of Netflix to
Netflix is
relax.
big.
I listen to a lot of music as well.
Mm.
I love music, and you know that already. You know I sing too. So
Yeah, so he sings, he plays the keyboard. He used to be in a
yeah,
very, very amazing group when I was in secondary school. They called that Tutis.
yeah.
Shout out to that
We
Tutis.
did, we did, we did our thing back then.
So they were the ones controlling everything in school then, and yeah, every one of them. Sunday is in movies. I
You're
should bring
making, yeah.
today on one of these days.
I know.
And come
Today,
and give
you
us
know, today is a
come
very
and give us all
interesting
the gist
personality.
about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
great OBMS students are always doing amazing things all over the world, to be very sincere with
of
you.
course.
And
Yeah,
if you don't know about it, tell your children to go to OBMS. They're going to
yeah.
be very great.
All the best schools. One of the best schools in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
So I wanted to ask this while we continue. And my first question to you will be, why did you want to study law? Like, what has that always been what you wanted? Just a brief summary, not that you tell us all this time.
Because
Just a
that's
brief
why
summary of
I
why.
said,
So let
do
me
you
do
want,
why law, why Unilag? Because I know that you were in Ibadan, so it would have just been normal, natural to want to go to UI. But why law, why Unilag,
I
and
went to
what made you
Babcock, not
transition
Unilag.
from
I went to
all
Babcock.
that into US? Yeah.
I went to Babcock.
Oh, but why did I think you went to Unilag?
I don't know why. I look like lag boy.
I
That's cool.
think so. I think so. So okay, so just give us the transitions on schooling and
Yeah.
law school and being in the US. What brought all that about?
Yeah, I mean, just a very brief one because I have a long story about how I ended up here.
Yeah.
It's been a journey, but a long and short one is I never wanted to study law. I think that's a very common story. I never wanted to study
Really,
law.
I wanted to study law because of Festus Keyamo.
I know, but my story is quite different. I think is a lot of people very similar to a lot of people's story. But I wanted to study theater art or mass communication. Yeah, because you
Wow.
remember back in school,
You used to be in
you
drama with
hear, oh,
Dami.
yeah, drama,
Yeah.
singing,
And
singing,
Tunde
singing.
was always the devil.
Exactly. So you remember I was a taxi driver at some point.
with your Panama.
Yeah. Anyways, so I wanted to study theater art because I wanted to remain in the entertainment industry.
Mm,
But obviously, my dad is a professor. He's like, I literally went. I wrote the entrance exam to Bowen for
okay.
mass communication, and I got in. But my dad was like, if you can pay for yourself to study mass communication, you can go ahead. But me, I'm not going to pay for a private university because I wanted to go to a private university. All my siblings, I'm the last of four. They all went to like government schools, and I know they spent like 7 years for 4 year course.
It was just these 6 years.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, I just want to do this thing and get out. So my dad was like, oh, I have a friend in Babcock, and they started their law program. You should study law and become a lawyer. I'm like, law? I don't want to do that. But one way or the other, I don't know how I passed the exam. I wanted to fail, but I passed the exam. I guess God was just putting me to
God had
where I
greater
needed to
plans.
be. Yeah, so I passed the exam, started law school. Second year, from my first year, I already started doing entertainment. Already, I joined the
Mm,
student social department. We
mm,
started doing shows, bring concerts. I was head of choir, head of drama. I was doing
wow.
everything doable just because that's my passion. But fast forward 300 level, people started asking, what kind of law do you want to study?
Mm,
Obviously, I was in a wrong place for me. I don't even know. Like, I don't want to go to court. Like, that's the last thing in my head. I've never envisaged me standing and saying, my Lord, I want to move this motion forward right
bro,
now.
I think we are cousins.
I'm like, that's not
Oh.
me.
Mm.
So, when people started asking, do you want to do property law, civil law, criminal law? What kind of law are you going to specialize in? I was like, I don't know. So I started looking for master's program, and I'm like, is there anything that they do that relates to law, entertainment?
Oh, okay. So before you go to masters, how
Yeah,
was law school for you? Which of the law school did you go, and how was it for you?
Kano. I went to Kano Law School. Man, Kano was another vibe, man. It was during Boko Haram. My mom was like, "No, you're not going to Kano, eh? Kano."
Mm,
But one way or the other, I was like, let me just go. Like, I've never left, Southwest.
mm,
I'm always in Southwest, so I wanted to really explore. The only
mm.
times I had been to like close to the north was Abuja.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind, and I wanted to be far away from home, anyways. Um, but it was a tough decision to say, okay, I'm gonna go because Kano was hot
Mm,
then with Boko Haram. But I went there. I still continued doing my entertainment. I was was head of social
Yeah.
Kano as well. So we organized all the dinners and all those things.
Oh.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough. Just
Mm.
looking back at my pictures, I'm like, oh my god, Adeyeba. And Kano is hot, is crazy, and it was like outskirt of Kano. But
Wow.
sometimes we hear like bang of like bomb going off and stuff like that.
Wow.
But we're grateful. We're grateful. Everything went out. It went really well.
Mm.
And we're where we are today. But I just back to like how I got into entertainment law. I just in 300 level, I looked for, okay, what can I do to something that relates to what I love. Then I just stumbled on like there's masters in entertainment and media law.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, that sounds. I read about it. I saw the copyright and everything. I didn't do copyright in 200 level because I'm like, copyright is hard. I didn't want to do it, but because I didn't know about entertainment law, so I
Yeah.
missed that window. But I guess it is what it
God,
is.
God had bigger plans on
Yeah,
what you wanted to do. So
yeah.
getting to the US, finishing your masters, what was the next step for you as a person? Was it like, okay, I've done masters. So what was your what next?
So before I moved here, I already started doing a lot of like self-learning
Okay.
about entertainment law. I already started practicing entertainment law. One of my friends started a magazine, so I was like head of legal for them. Did a couple of like deals, negotiations, and started drafting contracts on my own, just learning online. So I already knew where I was going, and
Mm.
I got into USC masters at University of Southern California. I had a lot of issues there, financial voila.
Mm.
I had to stop, and I eventually went to UCLA to study master. I did my management and business of entertainment and music.
Okay.
So that's what I eventually did, and it was great. Yeah.
After you did that,
Mhm.
what brought about Amplify Africa?
Okay, so when we started Amplify Africa, my friend Dami, we went to Babcock together.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually a very good friend. It was once my roommate. He went to USC. It was the same school he went to for his masters. Did entertainment law as well. So he was here before me. And when I got here, it was the only person I knew that could be of help.
Mm.
So we stayed together for a little bit.
Okay.
And when I got here, I'm like, where are all the Nigerians? Where are all the Africans? There's nothing happening. But the
Mm.
interesting part was we used to go for this party then. Yeah, it was called Colors, and we'll
Okay.
go for the party and we would see randomly people speaking like pidgin here and
Yoruba
there.
and
I'm
stuff.
like,
Yeah.
Nigerian people plenty for this Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
Even though like California is really big, right?
Yeah.
But we would see like sprinkle of like Africans here and there. You see Ugandan, Kenyan, South African, you see them all around. I'm like, there's really nothing going on, to bring
Mm.
these guys together. And because we as guys, like we have been into showbiz for years, right?
Mm.
Since secondary school, remember?
Yeah.
And it has been part of like my life. So we decided like, yo, there's really no company that is showcasing the best of Africa. And
Mm.
again, like we would go everywhere and people would be asking you very foolish questions as to, is there give me a second, sorry. Is there do you guys have lions in your backyard? All those
Yes.
stupid stereotypes,
Oh,
like
I heard this one. So you guys have hospitals.
exactly. Airplanes. The one that happened to me was airplane. So I gave the guy back a big time. I said, you're a master
Are
student
you
and I expect
kidding
better
me?
from you. Like you literally are educated. Like why are you speaking like a very uneducated, illiterate,
Wow.
idiotic illiterate? I give it back. I was so mad. I'm like, why would you? So I said, oh no, I trekked all the way from Africa. I trekked down. I went through the Atlantic Ocean. I swam, and and that's how I got here. No aeroplane. so, so things like that, all
Mm,
like were cumulative, like things that drew us to start Amplify Africa,
mm,
create a space, to create a community that Africans will be comfortable to come to, and also to also serve as a space where we can educate the uneducated, especially people who are in the diaspora who don't know anything about what Africa is.
yeah,
We wanted to. We used to get mad, but we realized that there's an opportunity to create something and educate, because it's mostly lack of education that
yeah,
causes like the ignorance. So
yeah,
if they're not going to go out of their way to learn, we could come to them and give it to them so they can learn more about what the beauty that Africa,
yeah,
has. And that's really honestly like how we started, Amplify Africa. We started doing events. We didn't know anybody. Facebook was very, very instrumental. We would
yeah,
go on Facebook, look for um all the groups, all those Nigerian Facebook groups, different things,
yeah,
African Facebook groups, and would invite people, individually, messaging them, inbox. We'll bug people,
wow,
come for this event, come for this event. We started free events. And as God will have it, it's been a very, very successful run so far.
wow. So for you, why do you think that a lot of Africans still have that, or a lot of people still have that mentality when it comes to Africa, as a thought, like a very, very, very third world country? Like we feel like everything is underdeveloped when it comes to Africa. Why do you think so?
So one thing that I've realized is um it's the media, right?
Mm,
What you and when I say media, I mean from news to movies,
yeah.
to articles, to everything, right?
Mm.
You realize that I lost you for a second. I don't know if you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Oh, okay, because it's black. So um you realize that the way Africa is portrayed in the news and the media, everything that they talk about Africa is usually, oh, they're hungry kids, um, donate this, donate that. It's more like a donation and dump ground, right? Dumping ground for most people in the diaspora. And in movies, the only things that they show is also like, oh, somebody's going to Africa, they're all going to the safari to see lion, to see tiger, and to see go on elephants and stuff like that. So
Mm,
that's the narrative that is being shared by um that's a narrative that is being shared by the Western media, right?
yeah.
As I said, in all media form, right? In radio, in audio, visual, everything. And I would say this the same way, which is another, I just want to segue a little bit. It's the
Sure.
same way that African Americans are portrayed in media in Africa as well. Because I can
Mm,
promise you, I've done a lot of unlearning.
mm,
I've done a lot of unlearning about like the history of African Americans. Um, Give me a second, please.
sure.
So I've done a lot of unlearning. I've done a lot of like deep diving into like what
The
the truth
issue and
is.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the exact thing that I'm doing that I expect, our people here in the diaspora, especially starting from the African Americans, to learn and to really discover what the truth is, because they know that Africa is a very, very rich place,
Mm,
in culture, in every aspect, so they don't want you to know, they don't want you to discover that. So
mm,
the narrative that they keep pushing is the ugly narrative. And if you keep seeing all those things, nobody wants to invest, nobody wants to go there for tourism, nobody wants to do anything out there. So
mm.
you need to realize, and but I think slowly things are beginning to take shape and change.
The funny thing was, someone was talking about this, and he said that subconsciously, the way the media has made everything work out,
Mhm.
they sell these ideas to you about each race.
Of course.
or each color. Let me use
Of
that word
course.
here because we're the human race.
Yeah.
But each color they depict, oh, the white person is a rich bougie person. The African American always has a gun, is gangster.
Yeah. Gangster.
African that's coming here is trying to rip you off
Accent.
because of so everything. So
He
he
has
said
one
consciously he
foolish
went
accent.
to, I think he was in Texas, and he
Yeah.
said that he got there and he was gisting with some guys. And funny enough, as he was leaving, he saw some like FT looking, just young men going about. And he
Hmm.
said subconsciously he said getting afraid.
Yeah.
And he had to snap himself out of that. Oh my
Come
God.
on. Yeah.
Even I,
That's
as a black person, I
yeah.
have been programmed and wired to the idea that this same thing is going on, that this person is going to harm me. So
Yeah.
changing the narrative is very important. But I think we ourselves, and this is one thing I always tell people. I understand that people always say, "Oh, I'm from Africa, I'm from Africa."
Hmm.
But Africa is not a country.
Of course.
I think that we also need to change that. When
Mm.
someone asks you, "Oh, Timi, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Nigeria." "Oh, where is Nigeria?" "Nigeria is from West Africa." I
Exactly.
think that the more we start talking about our countries and letting people actually go back home and think, okay, Nigeria, oh, Ghana, oh, this, they begin to research about the things that make those countries beautiful.
Exactly.
But most of the time, you see Nigerian, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Africa."
Africa. Yeah.
Bro.
So those are the things that, as I said, like we need to be very conscious. It takes conscious effort to make sure that we are spreading our narrative. And for so long,
Hmm.
we've realized that we've not been the forefront of telling our own stories. You
Hmm.
know, and
Hmm.
that's why Amplify Africa is there. Like we need to tell our own stories, because there's no way an African or a white person or an African American who has never really been to Africa is telling your stories, and they're telling you this is how it is, right?
Hmm.
It's just the same way that, you know, America, America is in the forefront of doing that, right? Of showcasing the poor parts of Africa.
Yeah.
What I always tell people is, I'm not an hypocrite. I'm not going to tell you Africa is all,
Thank
roses and
you.
like it's a bed of roses and it's like very sweet
Yeah.
and everything they're showing is not true, right? There are truths to like all the aspects of hunger, bad governance, lack of education,
Hmm.
and lack of like technology, right?
Hmm.
There's the truth to that. But the thing is, just like in America, there are so many places that are also underdeveloped. There are so many illiterates.
There's so many
There are so
potholes.
many homeless people. I live
Yeah.
in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and I tell you, there's a place called Skid Row, right?
Hmm.
Los Angeles probably has one of the highest homeless people settlement, right?
Wow.
California in general, right? If you go to Sacramento as well, go to San Francisco. Oh my goodness! And I'm like, I don't see this on the news. I don't see this in the movies,
Yeah.
right? All that they are trying to do, especially with movies, I think movies are very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And movies are kind of the way that they shape our mind. As you said, when you watch a typical Nollywood movie, an Indian is going to be a tech guy,
Yeah.
right? Is either a tech guy or a medical person, a
Hmm.
research person, right? A
Yeah.
Chinese is, or Asian person. China, I mean, Indians are Asians too, but
Yeah.
Chinese or mostly Asians are mostly in tech world,
Yeah.
right? They're the geeks and stuff like that. An African American, when you see him, is either in one of the gangs or gang members. When you look at the Hispanic, they're usually drug dealers, right?
Truth.
So you see what I'm saying? It is setting your mind and your subconscious thing to start to profile people, and you
Hmm.
start believing that that is what the reality is. A lot
Hmm.
of people have never been to Mexico, or they've never been to Peru, but the ideology is Mexico is full of drug dealers, right? Anytime
Hmm.
you hear any guy who is speaking, yeah, that guy could be drug dealer,
Hmm.
so those are the things that I say we need to tell our own stories more, And I'm happy that we have more leverage now with Netflix and all the streaming platforms. The
Yeah.
world is becoming more global. Like, you don't necessarily need any news media house to tell your stories. You have access. There's free access to really tell the truth of what is going on. And
Okay.
Netflix is there. We're shooting our movies, and we have the opportunity to really tell proper African stories, not fairy tales or unrealistic stories that don't make sense.
Mm. So I just want to put it out there. If you're watching us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would, if you're watching us on our Instagram page at Life Matters to Adeyeba, I would say click the link to the bio and you can join us on YouTube live so that we can display your comments. But I'll read a couple of comments from sorry, I have to turn because the phone is
Yeah.
there. So Damola says, talking about the development, I strongly believe that educating people from back home should be done using the local dialect
Hmm.
language.
I like that.
That that one like you live very long. And
Yeah.
it says English has proven to be a barrier to advancement of knowledge across the continent. That is very, very true. And I totally agree with him. But like I said, if you're watching us live on Instagram and you want to join us, please click the link in the bio. I think I sent the link also to Timi in your
Oh, you
DM. So
did?
you can also
Oh,
send it
okay.
out to your friends.
Oh,
I
okay.
King Deolu.
Oh, yeah, you can learn.
So you can just click the link in the bio and you join us on YouTube live so we can display your comments and your questions and stuff like that. The reason why I agree with him is because I remember when Shion Kuti was talking about the whole NSAS movement, and we're just gonna go right into it.
Hmm.
And he said that the first question did we ask the people that we are fighting for, what exactly do you need? What exactly do you want?
Mm.
And did we come down and say, okay, so I speak Yoruba, so I will say this in Yoruba and I'll say it back in English.
Hmm.
Kí lẹ fẹ́ ká ṣe fún yín? Báwo lẹ ṣe fẹ́ ká jà? What do you want us to do for you and how do you want us to fight for you? Is it because social media is not Nigeria, right? Social media is not what's going on the street. What's going on the street basically is people fighting for their life, people trying to make sense of what's going on around the world. But they won't know that they can't know it because they're not out here. Like they're not in our faces. You get my point. They're just in their house, in their huts, in their villages. And I really appreciate the fact that as raw as Oloture was, it was the exact depiction of what's still going on right now. Do you understand? Like
Absolutely.
right now. And I know that people are mad about citation and I get it, but
Mm.
I also get that there has to be a balance in how we tell our stories. You understand? And like he said, we have to speak the dialect that people understand. I remember when they interviewed the girl that had her sister in the village and wanted to in Oloturi, she said
Hmm.
she had to learn the
The
language
language.
during that time. And I just thought about that. What if we start doing it? Why is it that those language stations like African Magic Yoruba, why are we not talking about the things that are affecting us? They do a lot of same, just cut across all the movies, same similar storyline. Why don't we build storylines like how we're seeing Mo Abudu and all these other guys in all these other companies? Why are we not seeing them depict the exact same thing? And it hurts, but it's the bitter truth that we've seen the exact same thing repeat itself movie after movie after movie.
Mm.
So, like Damola said, it's very important before we can sell the idea of the Africa we really want, we have to also speak the language of the people. And I think that was what Sheon Kuti was saying. Let's
Yeah.
speak the language of the people so that the people will know that we are fighting for them. I think there was a picture that went viral of a boy that said, please take, and he said to Yoruba that please take my drinks. I think he was selling drinks. Please take my drinks. I know you are fighting for me so that I can be able to go to school.
Mm.
The boy, the only thing he understood was these people that are out on the street day in, day out,
Fighting.
they're doing it for me. And the only way he could express it was
Is
through
that
his
the way?
language, right? So Damla is really right. It's very important for us to actually just go out of our way,
Yeah.
teach our kids our language, teach our kids our culture. There is no Hispanic or Asian or that I've met that their kids don't understand their language,
Yep.
but the 90% of Africans in the diaspora feel like teaching their kids their language is a crime.
So I'll tell you this, right?
Okay.
Remember back, I feel like this happened in almost every primary school or secondary school in Nigeria.
Yeah.
They punish you for speaking vernacular,
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
for
True.
speaking your native language.
Hmm.
So I think that's a problem in itself.
Hmm.
Nigeria is not being English speaking country is just the official language, right? And I feel like the problem kind of starts from there. They don't take it seriously. They don't understand that culture, and
Hmm.
it's basically because of the white people, right? They
Yeah.
brought a system, and they want to fit that system into our society that existed before they came,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? All these
Yeah.
languages were existing before the British came.
Yeah.
Like we had our systems, we had the traditional systems that were working just before they came. So and that's why, especially for Nigeria, I always like to speak for Nigeria because I don't like generalizing and saying Africa, because
Yeah.
every African country has its own
Culture
peculiarity,
and
and
yeah.
everything is kind of like might be different, but I'm from Nigeria. So in Nigeria we realize that we don't take culture seriously, and we take what is Western, we take it above, and we bring it higher than what it should be.
Hmm.
And when you think about it, local things have been solving local problems for so
Yeah.
long. So I'm one of the proponents of we use local solve local problems with local solutions.
Hmm.
We shouldn't always look outside to solve our problems.
Hmm.
When you look at
And that's the mind.
medicine.
Sorry, and that's the mindset that the politician that comes year in every 4 years. That's the mindset they're going with.
Yep.
That's okay. This person is hungry. This person, the last time I tried this, it worked. I gave them food, they voted for me. I gave them money, they voted for me. So they understand the peculiarity of the game and they feel like this has worked over the years, that when I give them what they need in that immediate moment, it works. I get what I need and they go back and they do whatever they want to do.
Because, bro, like a hungry person will do anything
Hmm.
to get food, because the first instinct of every human is survival, right?
Yeah.
So if you're drowning, the first thing you're thinking about is not the technique of how to help
Swim.
yourself. The first thing is I must survive. So
Yeah.
your brain is telling you to do things that
Hmm.
you feel is going to work out.
Hmm.
In accidents, right? They tell you most people don't die because of the impact of the accident. It's mostly because of how they handled that accident. And
Hmm.
a lot of people would have survived, or like ways, because the first thing you're trying to do, sometimes they tell you don't inhale things, or don't breathe, or don't do this, but the first thing you want to do is I want to breathe, I want to do this, I want to drink water, I want to. So and that's the weapon that these guys have, for, because there's poverty, there's hungry people,
Hmm.
and these guys have kids, they have families that they want to feed. So if you
Hmm.
come to them and say I'll give you this, just look at Esau now, right? Look at the story of Esau. I'm hungry, I'm doing this thing, I beg, forget, take this birthright, I don't care.
Hmm.
Now, like what you need at that moment, which is hunger, can be
Hmm.
used against you. And you
Hmm.
forget that, there's actually a future, there's actually something that you should be looking forward to in the
Hmm.
end that might benefit you. It's just now suffer a little bit and enjoy later, you
Hmm.
know. And that's the thing that we need to keep, infusing in the local people, in people. It's a hard thing. I've been in conversations about, how do we change this old mentality in Nigeria? How do we make sure that people are not voting for people are not voting for who's giving them 5,000 naira or blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. I guess that's another conversation entirely,
Yeah.
if you want to delve into that.
No, I think that it still boils down to everything we've been saying since, and I look at, oh, Nigerians are quick to jump into the Black Lives Matter movement, not because because how do I put it? The thing is, a lot of people feel like, oh, it sounds good, it sounds pretty. Do you know that I heard people say that that was why they jumped on it? It was not because they really sat down to understand why people were fighting for one person. They valued one person's life because that one person has been treated how thousand others. I was watching a new episode of SWAT, right? And funny enough, they did like a replica of what happened in a particular city in 92 where some cops killed a particular guy, and
Mhm.
the whole riot started all over again. And I remember that Ondo's father said, you guys have killed us so much and you're still killing us.
Mm.
So the fight was not um oh, one person died. It's like this thing has been the same for before time began, and you guys have not done anything different. And it's the same thing that they're saying in Nigeria. Because it's called NSAS doesn't mean, and that's why I think that a lot of people that were on the front or on the verge of the movement didn't really delve into this is why people are clamoring for change. It's not just police brutality,
Of course.
right? Is that our roads are still divided into two. One city can't get to another city because the person that sat on millions and billions of naira hasn't fixed the road,
Of
right?
course.
And this is the same thing when it comes to, like, an example. Even in our ministries, we have a lot of people that by 2 o'clock they've carried their bag, they've left. And they're done. And a lot of us that are here are sending money. Oh, I need this certificate. Oh, I need this. Until we have closed. Oh, uncle. And you hear these excuses and you're asking yourself, oh my God, like, when will this change? So whether it's NSAS, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's whatever fight it is, and I tell people that I thank God 2020 gave us time to actually fight. Like, I'm just
Yep.
imagining now you're doing your 9 to 5. Nobody will have time for that. But
I know.
I'm glad that we had that fight for, we need us as Africans, whether you believe that, the truth is that a lot of Black American or African Americans, we are all Africans together. I think that's another divide that we have to come back to realize that because I call you African American, no means say I'm not African Canadian. You understand? We are all Africans and we need to fight together to make sure that Africa is still put on the map. But Timmy, and this was a conversation we are having before we started,
Mhm.
we are the best doctors. We are getting the best awards. We are breaking ground records. There's so many Africans in real estate. Like, I was watching the other day, this lady is 25. She's earning 6 figures. She's like, people are doing amazing things.
Of course.
Why don't those things matter in the scale globally? Why is it that it's still the bad things? And you've answered part of it, which is that is what is being projected. But
Mm.
now in the news, all these things, people like Adeyeba Fire, people like Dami Adeni, all of them, they are putting, these are Africans. These are the great things we're doing. Why don't
Okay.
you still have more people do what Amplify Africa is doing?
Okay. So I'll tell you this, right? Um, as I said before, Amplify Africa. The whole idea is to amplify Africans, amplify Africa, amplify Africans in the diaspora, right? Um, so the idea is that the reason why people don't know
Mm,
or people are not saying, as I said before, is we're not doing a good storytelling. We're not a good PR. We're not doing good PR for Africa.
mm.
Now, America is one of the greatest brands you can see in this world.
I love
Brand,
that word, brand.
yes, it's a brand,
Mm,
and they know how to make it look like, oh, it's all glitz and glamour.
mm,
Before coming to Los Angeles, Hollywood, oh my God, I'm going to LA, blah, 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 blah. And you get there and you're like, this is not the thing I'm saying on, where's the Beverly Hills? Where's the Hollywood?
mm,
It's smelling like pee and there's a lot of homeless people out here.
Mm.
you know, but you wouldn't see that once again. So we need to do a better work to promote ourselves, to tell our stories, and say the good things that we're doing.
Mm.
And one of the platforms that Amplify Africa has created to do that is called the Afro Ball.
Mm.
So the Afro Ball is a yearly gala. We like to call it the Met Gala of Africans, right?
Mm.
It's done here in Los Angeles, and what we do is we recognize. We're actually in partnership with the U.S. Congress. Right,
Oh,
we have a
nice.
partnership with them to give out certificates of excellence to Africans in various spheres of like in the various industries, entertainment, media, health, tech, name it, philanthropy, whatever you
Mm.
want. We call them amplifiers, right? You're
Yeah.
amplifying, you're doing something that is showcasing Africa in the best way that you can. You're in the top of your career, you're in the top of. And when we started that, we
Mm.
realized that, yo, Africans are
Doing
like,
a lot.
they're doing a lot. They're in the top of their top kid of like their careers, like in the
Mm.
industry. They're the movers and shakers of the industry. When you even look at like the music or entertainment industry, trust me, like Africans are kicking ass. They're doing great stuff. And there is no platform that showcases Africans that are doing all these things. And that's one of the reasons why we created the Afro Ball, to
Mm.
showcase and to amplify the works that these guys are doing, you
Mm.
know. And through that, you see that a lot of people will be like, wow, I didn't know she was African. Oh, I didn't know. Oh my God. So we have all these people. And when I remember when I got to the US, it was hard to figure out who's African, who's doing stuff. I didn't have
Mm.
role models. I didn't really know how to, navigate the waters, because we don't have a roadmap. We don't have someone that you're looking up to and be like, wow, this person did this.
Mm.
Bozoma St. John has been the CMO of Netflix, of this, of she was in the Uber, she's on Netflix, she's in
Mm.
Endeavor, she's moving. Like, people like that are doing great stuff. Now, when you look at that as a young woman, that they've told you, you can't do anything, you're African, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? Just now there's a possibility, just like Kamala
Mm.
Harris, right?
Yeah.
There's a possibility. And that's what humans always gravitate towards. Like, when you see a role model, and that's why they tell you it's always good to have someone who you look up to, right? It's not necessarily because you have to be like that person. It's just because you want to, put your mental, your status into the fact that there's a possibility that you can reach there.
Mm.
So those are the kind of things that we need to do more. Our
Mm.
publications, are we showcasing the best? Are we telling people that there's a possibility, there's no limit to what you can get to? Are we
Mm.
telling people that we have the smartest kids in the world? Are
Mm.
we showcasing all those things? Are we blowing our own horn?
Mm.
America, as I said, is one of the greatest brands in the world. They know how to blow their horn. They will tell you, see the way they've made Thanksgiving, they make Christmas look so, like, you look forward to it,
Yeah.
through movies, through news, through just several things, right? They know how to
And they
captivate you.
create things that display those things year in, like there's always 30 to 40 Christmas movies every year.
Yes,
And it's
already
the
they
same
started.
Christmas,
I've
same
seen like
storyline,
already.
same
So
storyline.
it just makes you, yes, same thing. The
A
Prince
boy
Charming,
meets a
or
girl. Yeah, it's
love. It's all about love, right? So
yeah.
so that's the thing, like, we need to create, and that's how humans, our perception, like what you perceive, through all the senses, that's how you build character, that's how you build, an ideology. It's through
Mm.
all the senses: smell, nose. It's when you go to a Bath and Body Works, right? Or
Yeah.
you go to any, what's the ladies, what's this
No,
one?
Bath and Body Works is unisex, so it's an
Yeah, there's a
inclusion for
particular
guys.
one. I forgot the name, but if you go there, right, it- the smell already just makes you let me buy it's good to buy this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying that like we need to showcase ourselves properly.
Mm,
We need to get our shit together in Africa
mm.
as well, because if you get back to Muritala Mohammed Airport, that's
Same
where
old
your
same.
problem starts.
Yeah. Same
You
old same.
know, so the positioning, your first point of entry into the country, kind of gives you an idea of what you might find. So
Mm,
things like that, apart from showcasing the best, we also need to really do the best too.
mm,
Because you can be showcasing the best, but at the end of the day, when we're saying, okay, we want all our African American friends. Sorry. Anyways,
Mr. D.
when you have African American friends, or you're saying, okay, we want foreigners to come back, or we want our African American sisters and brothers to come back home,
Mm,
what is on ground for them? What
yeah.
is
What
what
are the
is
opportunities
happening?
they're coming to
What are the
explore?
opportunities? You know, Hope corruption won't discourage them.
Mm,
So when you don't have 24 hours electricity, they're used to it. So there
mm,
has to be a conducive environment that will enable all these things that we're talking about. Everything needs to be, there has to be cohesion with all these things. Like there can't be one thing and another thing pulling us down. And I think that's
mm,
one thing that, especially in Nigeria, has been happening. Some people are going up, other people are pulling down
mm,
for
mm,
selfish reasons.
mm, mm. I really, but I really appreciate what you said. But before we end the show, I wanted to also say this, or I wanted to ask you this: how would you talk to, as a millennial parent, how would you transfer that legacy of African excellence, still putting Africa on the map to the next generation? And how will you talk to like fellow parents that have younger ones out there and they have been shielding their children for everything cultural, everything, or everything is, oh, you must learn Spanish, you must learn this, you must learn that. But in your head, you're trying to guard your child from all the heels of this or this continent that they're from, and not let them learn about what's and who they are.
Yeah, so it could be a very tricky one, but Yoruba says "ajole dabile," and that means being in a foreign place can never be as good as being at home. So you must cherish your home. And one of the greatest things that I think that immigrants have, especially if you are very cultural, is your culture.
Mm,
Culture is who you are, culture is what you stand for, culture is what has brought you to wherever you are, and you must cherish that culture.
mm,
So for me, I'm a huge proponent of like don't let your culture go by. Try and teach your kids language, even from the minutest like things, right? Of we are outside. I want to talk to my child. I speak Yoruba. No other person understands. But
sweet.
as tiny as that might look, right? There are
Yeah.
ways where you'll be like, "Wo ti ń bá mú ẹ, kó wá jókòó síbí,"
Or you just do your
And
eyes
other
like this.
person, yeah, other people might be like, "Oh yeah, I was just," all
Oh
of the
man.
little things
Mm,
allow you to grow, and even they say like for kids, it helps them become even more. When you're bilingual, I think your brain opens up or something like that. There's been like several things that bilingual kids are um more intelligent than like
yeah.
just a single. Yeah, so I think that it helps as well. So like everyone try as much as possible to teach your culture. And I feel like a lot of millennial kids too, or parents too, don't even really are
Know
not
their
really
own
into
culture.
the culture. So it's unfortunate
Yeah.
that some don't, but it's never too late. There's
Yeah.
so many platforms, there's so many ways. Try to go back to Africa, to your home country, once in a while, at least try maybe once a year, once in 2 years, however you want to do it. And when you go back, you don't necessarily need to stay away from the village. One of the tribes that I really appreciate the most in Nigeria that take their culture to art is Igbo. The Igbo people, they don't joke with they don't joke with
They
village.
don't. They don't.
They don't joke with village, right? And I've had conversations with them because a lot of Igbo people are in LA. They always talking about the village. Even the ones that didn't grow up here, they know how to speak or they understand the Igbo language because their
Yeah.
parents would always instill in them. And when they're building houses, they're building mansions, they're going back to the village, they're developing their village. They're
Mm.
giving the villagers opportunity to get some work, and then they feed them. They're creating employment, jobs, and stuff. So I think that is very important for us to learn our heritage.
Mm.
um and I love my heritage. I try as much as possible to learn more, to speak more Yoruba. um and I'm gonna definitely try my best to make sure I do speak Yoruba every time as well,
Yeah,
because
and there are also so many platforms even on YouTube. There's I
yeah,
think there's Culture TV, there's So Kids TV. There's so many TV
yeah,
channels
so
that
it's funky
Yoruba
and
for.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and she did amazing. Like as small as my almost 3 months old baby is, I'm playing it for her. I
of course.
played French. There are different languages that I will introduce, but for
Yeah.
me, I feel like it's our job. It's very important for us to put it out there.
Hmm.
Um, but before I go to the game, I just wanted to touch on something.
There's a
So yes, there's a game.
hey, like
Okay, so before we go there, I wanted you to touch on something which is on trust amongst Africans. Now
mm,
you've talked about let's portray Africans this, let's portray Africans that, but like and we've talked about this before, like as a show, how we have a lot of Africans not helping other Africans, like, and we are talking about it yesterday, and I was just having a gist with a couple of friends, and we're like, why is it that we don't see Africa, like when an immigrant comes in, other immigrants want them to go through the very hard parts that they went through because they want to prove a point, or if they're in an organization, the pride of I'm the only African in that organization is the pride of a lot of people. So the question now is, how do we solve the problem of trust amongst Africans so that we can actually work together?
mm, I see.
That's a thesis.
That's it. In fact, there needs to be a PhD program that does that. Honestly, I don't know how we can do it, but I think there are pathways to it.
Mm,
And is, as I said, love is one of the number one thing that we need to have. Like
mm,
we need to have love.
mm,
Without love, there can't be trust. There can't be anything.
mm,
So I feel like there's just too much hate,
mm,
and there's a lot of division.
mm,
There's just too much division, and it started from. I always blame the British for whatever we're going through, because I feel like their main way that the way that they came into to
the way they got
Nigeria, or
Africa was through
Africa, was
division.
exactly, divide and rule type situation. That's how they did it. So they're sowing seeds of discord in this, and they'll go back and forth and make sure, like, so that is already kind of like in the root
Mm,
of how they came in, and
mm,
it's so hard.
mm,
It's so hard. It's a really tough one to say. Okay, to say, oh yeah, we can build trust. It's gonna be hard. It's a journey that
mm,
we need to be very aware and be conscious of. There has to be a conscious effort towards making sure that you're doing the right things.
mm,
We're used to doing the wrong things, and obviously, once people start doing the wrong things, there won't be trust. So I
mm,
think the first step is, let's try as much as possible to exhibit love for each other. Um,
mm,
Once you start loving and you're doing the right things, you don't want the downfall of another person. I
mm,
think that slowly trust will start setting in. When you look at most advanced countries, I'll take the US or Canada, for example, the, they are mostly built on trust, trusting the system,
Mm.
trusting that when you get here, you trust that there'll be light, right? You trust that water will run. You
Mm.
trust that if I go into business with this person, or if I, okay, simple as I want to order something, right? Online,
Yeah.
I'm not paid. Is
Mm.
when you get here, I'm gonna pay. That's
Mm.
simple trust,
Mm.
right? It's as simple as, okay, Uber driver, you're taking me somewhere, right? I trust you. I've never met you before, a random stranger. You take me to where I'm going, and yes, you take me there. You're not gonna kidnap me or rob me, right?
Or beats me up.
Or beat me, you know. So so
Mm.
so those things, doing the right things,
Mm.
right? Doing the right things, loving our neighbors, going back to the Bible, it's
Mm.
very strong. Love your
Yeah.
neighbor as yourself.
As yourself.
Do to others how you want them to treat you. So
Mm.
love is one of the major components that I think that we need to start in exhibiting and showing to others. I think through that, trust can start creeping in, and everyone will be like, okay, you're doing your part, I'm doing my part. But
Mm.
once someone is doing his part and the other person is not doing his part, then there can't be trust. So I think we need to start loving each other.
Yeah, let's start loving each other. But before Timmy goes, Timmy's already scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. So towards the I try to like lighten up the mood since we always have very, very
And
serious
conversation.
I think I probably will have to have like a subtle different name for the show because it's very serious.
Yes. Oh no. It's nice.
So basically, is this show? It's a game that everybody kind of does it, and it's common amongst almost everybody. And it's song association. So I give you a word, and you are a singer already. So I don't even have
I
to be
always forget
asking
something.
you.
But okay, no problem.
I don't will be asking you. So you're a singer, you know this stuff. So I'll use the last word you just used, and your first word will be love. So any song, and give us the title of the what they call it, the person that sang it, because people have scammed me on this show.
Love. If
Yeah.
I tell you, say I love you, if
If by You have to tell us the
oh,
artist.
the video, yeah.
Yeah.
If
So
like,
you have to give us the artist.
oh,
Okay. So
okay.
the second word will be call. CALL.
Call. Oh man, call. God
So
is calling you. My deputies.
you know the
God
funny
is calling you. God is calling you. I want to
yeah.
speak to you again.
Funny enough, the song that was on my mind was Style Plus Call My Name. I
Oh,
don't know where that's
hey, that's my favorite song. I didn't even come to me.
SMH.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, so your next word is faith.
Faith.
Yeah.
Um, Come, I know a lot of faith songs. I mean, because I'm a choir leader. Come on.
You're disgracing your choir members.
Man, faith. Faithful, faithful, faithful is our God.
Yeah, true. Though. Let's give him faithful. I'm reaping the harvest, got promise. Oh, it's been long I heard that
Yeah.
song. My favorite part of that song is "And I rejoice today." Ta-da-da. Oh my God, there are songs in this life. Okay, let's not turn into a party. Okay, the next the next word will be deserve.
You deserve it.
Yeah, we
You
know.
deserve the glory. Uh,
Now Timmy is being proud.
no, I give you
Okay, so I think you deserve it is by JJ Hairston.
yes, and
Um,
you deserve the
and I
glory.
think the other one is I don't know who
I don't
sang
know.
that.
Sir.
I can't remember who did. So the last one will be you choose one of the words. Either you choose sound or you choose trust. So first tell us the word you want though.
Is that the song? This is the song. I think I forgot. I think rattle has sound in it by Elevation Worship.
Okay, I actually rarely listen to their songs, but
Oh,
I'm trying to say trust. This person's song, I will trust in you always.
no be, but there's no
That
other
that
way. We can see in Jesus.
funny enough, when you said calling, you know the song that came to my head?
Yeah.
Reverend Lee's God is
God
call.
is calling.
Shout out to
God is
Reverend Lee.
calling. God is calling you.
Oh my god, but thank you very much, Timi. What will be your last words to people out there, to Africans doing amazing work out there? What will be your encouraging words to young entrepreneurs trying to make a difference out there? What will be your words to them?
Yeah, I would say that, don't stop.
Mm,
I don't want to sound like very all these last, man, like keep doing what you like to do.
mm,
Love is very important, as you said. We need to create that trust system in our society. We need to work with each other. Um, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
mm,
Collaboration is key. That's
mm,
one thing that Africans and Nigerians don't like doing. Everyone wants to be the boss. Everyone wants to be the one calling the shots.
mm,
So collaboration is very, very key, and that's how any society, any industry can move forward. So we need to collaborate, look for
mm,
how. Just take for example the tech industry. That's a
mm,
very good model. They
mm,
collaborate. There's a chief technical officer. There are software developers. You can't do everything at once. So
mm,
let's try as much as possible to always collaborate. When you see your brothers shining, shine the light on what they're doing, and they will also lift you up. Don't pull people down. Just spread the word however you can. Let's support each other and collaborate more. I think those are my last
yeah,
word.
that
I'm
that
moving to
that's
die
that's
soon.
amazing. That's
After
that's amazing.
last word for this show. And
Yes,
you
sir. You're so extra. So yes, like Timmy
that's
said,
it.
please let's collaborate, let's work together. You can always reach out to him at Timi Adeyeba. He's an
Yeah.
entertainment lawyer, so he can help you draft, review your contracts, and you can also collaborate or work if you want to work with Amplify Africa. You can also reach out to them at Amplify Africa. Go to their website. I believe it's
The
amplifyafrica.com.
org. The org.
.org.
The
So
org.
they have their contacts at the bottom, so you can always reach out or send them a message, and let them see how they can work with you. Or either way, what do you want to explore? And if you're a Nigerian in LA and you're looking for where to grab great minds, or you're an African in LA and you're looking for great minds to collaborate with, Amplify Africa is the plug.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you said, I suggest we as Africans remove the culture of competitions amongst us, try and unify and harness our skills as a community. That way we can slowly become a force to reckon with. Thank you
My
very
guy.
much,
Yeah.
Adedamola.
Ola is a very
Um,
smart guy.
that
Um,
is that is one great thing. That competition, you see on one row, everybody's selling ice water, everybody's selling the same thing
once you
because
start
when people
selling one
come
thing,
together.
everybody starts
Right.
selling.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the same thing even for churches, right? So let's support people that are in your church. If you're an African church, we know you're an African church. You don't have to want to be what you're not. So let's try and work together, collaborate and support. That's the key.
So
Support. But thank you very much for watching the show today. We are so blessed and we're glad to have Timmy. Um it's a great, it was fun having you on the show
yeah,
today.
it was fun.
and
Thank you
and
so much. Thank you for having me. It's a honor, a privilege. I really appreciate this and keep on doing what you're doing. Bro, like don't ever despise like what you're doing. I know it could be hard, especially from the media angle. So I'm trying to encourage.
no, the
Yeah,
that
but
that's
but
it.
trust me, don't ever feel like, and I think you have that already. You know that regardless of who's watching, who's not watching, how many people, that
Yeah.
should discourage you from what you're doing. You're good at what you do. Keep doing it. Keep pushing it. Keep improving. I've seen a lot of improvements. This wasn't like the case before. It was
It
Instagram
wasn't
that
even close to it.
wasn't nice camera, nice mic. Everything is gonna work out, and you'll be the best in what you do. So
Amen.
I'm
Amen.
glad, man.
Amen.
Yeah, I
You
love
know, funny enough, guys, I actually, I think I remember, I think it was 2 years in 2018. I messaged Timi and I'm like, I think I might just want to come and do entertainment law in
it. Yeah.
in the US, but God turned flipped everything, and that's long story for another day. But guys, let's keep supporting each other. Let's keep working with each other. Competition will not make us be better if we are not pulling other people that are doing better and putting them out in the map. So the essence of this conversation is let's all continue to put Africa on the map globally, continue
Yep.
to whatever it is that an African does and it is good, it's not a scam. Please make sure you support them and put them out there. Till I
Absolutely.
see you next week with another amazing funny enough, I'm going to have another amazing lawyer next week.
All right.
She's really good, and I hopefully we're gonna have a very nice conversation on a success journey, being a Nigerian called to buy in Nigeria and also here in Canada. So
Oh, nice.
hopefully that plug comes in and we're gonna have her next week. But till I see you next week, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube channel. Just let you
Yeah,
support us.
support it.
But till I see you next
Don't
week,
fight.
God bless. It will not bite you. But thank you very much, guys. God bless you. Till I see you next time. Bye.